Another night painted blue on the walls, street lights stretching shadow across the room. Clock keeps talking but I don't hear words, only the weight of everything I couldn't undo. Warm bass enters softly. The world fell asleep hours ago, but my mind keeps leaving the lights on. The ceiling knows my name by now. I've traced these cracks 1,000 times. Every line looks like a road I never took. Every shape reminds me of another goodbye. My phone lights up then fades away, just ghosts inside a glass display. I tell myself not to look back tonight, then memory pulls me anyway. There's a jacket hanging by the door, still holding on to your perfume. Funny how the smallest things survive long after people leave the room. Drums in a gently atmosphere widens. I close my eyes but nothing changes. The silence only gets louder now. Every unfinished conversation comes circling back around. Full arrangement opens, making harmony. Just ceiling knows my name, knows every secret I can't say, knows how many nights I spent trying to make the past behave. The ceiling knows my heart, every crack reflects a different scar. And at 2 in the morning it feels like the moon is sitting where you are. The ceiling knows my name better than I know myself these days. Better than I know myself these days. Drums pull back into mid-vocal delivery. There's a coffee cup beside the bed, cold enough to match my hands. I keep replaying old mistakes like somehow they'll reveal a different end. Outside, the city's breathing slow, red tail lights fading into black. Everybody's headed somewhere new while I'm still unpacking what we had. The night keeps stretching like a river, longer than it should be allowed. And every thought I try to bury comes back speaking twice as loud. Strings begin to swell underneath. I tell myself tomorrow's coming, like that's enough to make it true. But every road inside my head tonight somehow still leads back to you. Larger harmonies, stronger drums, they hit harmonies. The ceiling knows my name, knows every secret I can't say, knows how many nights I spent trying to make the past behave. The ceiling knows my heart, every crack reflects a different scar. And at 2 in the morning it feels like the moon is sitting where you are. The ceiling knows my name better than I know myself these days. Better than I know myself these days. Drop out, piano and strings only. Maybe healing isn't waking up okay. Maybe it's surviving one more night this way. Maybe peace isn't forgetting what was real. Maybe it's learning not to chase what you still feel. Strings swell dramatically. Maybe all these shadows on the wall are proof that even darkness needs a light to fall. Full cinematic climax, knows every prayer I never prayed, knows every version of myself that stayed behind when you walked away. The sea fading through the blinds, morning waiting somewhere far away. The ceiling knows my name. The room is dark except for one thing, a screen glowing across my face, like a tiny moon I can't escape.
Soft bass enters.
And I already know I shouldn't be here. There's a blue light cutting through the dark, painting old memories across my walls. One notification away from another mistake, one touch away from another fall. I scroll through pictures I should've deleted, read conversations that ended months ago, looking for hidden meanings in no words, like somehow there's something I still don't know. Outside the city sleeping peacefully, inside my head the traffic never stops. Every thought runs every red light, every memory refuses to get lost, and your name still feels familiar, like a song I never learned to leave behind. Gentle drums and tears. I tell myself this is the last time, the last search, the last replay. But every lonely night eventually find me drifting back your way. Full groove opens, lady harmony, blue light shadow, dancing on my ceiling, making all emotions feel alive again. Trying to move ahead, and every glow across the darkness feels like another doorway to the past. Blue light shadow, blue light shadow. Always find me when the night's moving too fast. Drums dropping in a mid-vocal delivery. The battery's low, but I'm still holding on. At a phone or something I don't, searching through moments frozen in pixels for answers that probably never existed. The reflection staring back at me looks tired from carrying yesterday, trying to heal while reopening wounds. Every single time I lose my way, I know your light kept moving forward. New mornings, new people, new skies, while I'm here counting constellations inside a room that's full of your goodbyes. Strings quietly rise beneath the vocal. Every promise that I made myself starts breaking after 2 a.m. The silence gets too heavy, and I start looking back again. Yeah, larger harmonies, wider production. Ceiling, making old emotions feel alive again. Blue light shadows turning minutes into hours, pulling me backward when I'm trying to move ahead. And every glow across the darkness feels like another doorway to the past. Blue light shadow, blue light shadow. You always find me when the night's moving too fast. Drums drop out, piano in that sweet pass only. Maybe closure isn't hidden in a message. Maybe peace isn't waiting in a photograph. Maybe some doors stay closed for a reason. Even when your heart keeps reaching back, strings swell. And maybe this screen isn't it's showing me you. Maybe it's showing me the version of myself I'm finally supposed to outgrow. Full cinematic climax stacked in blue light shadow, fading with the sunrise, losing all their power in the morning air. Blue light shadow, finally letting go of all the weight I've been carrying there. And every glow across the darkness doesn't have to lead me to the past.
Rain on Nez returns. Soft piano fading. The screen goes dark.
The room grows quiet, and for the first time all night, so does my mind, and so does my home. Lonely piano, distant thunder. I've heard 1,000 sounds tonight. Cars passing through wet street, rain tapping against the glass. The hum of the city trying to stay away. None of them sound like you leave me. Deep bass slowly enters, and somehow that's the problem. The rain keeps writing on my window, stories that disappear too soon. Every drop reminds me of that night when silence filled the space between me and you. I still remember how the room felt, like the air already knew your plans. The way your eyes stopped reaching mine, the way your hands slipped from my hands. Now every song's different, every street feels rearranged. Funny how one conversation can make an entire world change. And I've been trying to outrun that moment since the second that you walked away. Soft drums and a heartbeat like rhythm. Everybody says time heals, but time keeps bringing me back there to the last words hanging in the atmosphere, like they're still floating somewhere. Yeah. Full arrangement opens, laying harmonies. Nothing sounds like your goodbye. Not the thunder in the midnight sky, not the trains that disappear into the distance, not the tears I try to hide. Nothing sounds like your goodbye. Not the city when it's losing all its lights. There's a certain kind of silence only heartbreak leaves behind, and nothing sounds like your goodbye. Electric guitar textures appear softly. The coffee shop around the corner still plays the songs we used to know, and every familiar melody feels like another place I shouldn't go. I've learned how to smile in conversations, learn how to say that I'm alright. But every night the truth comes looking, the second I'm alone with my thoughts. I wonder if you ever think about me when the moon is hanging low, or if I'm just another chapter in a story you've already closed. Meanwhile, I'm still rereading closes, trying to understand the ending. Strings begin rising underneath. Some memories fade like photographs, others burn in travel, I keep finding them again. Larger drums, wider harmonies. Nothing sounds like your goodbye. Not the thunder in the midnight sky, not the trains that disappear into the distance, not the tears I try to hide. Nothing sounds like your goodbye. Not the city when it's losing all its lights. There's a certain kind of silence only heartbreak leaves behind, and nothing sounds like your goodbye. Drums drop out completely. Maybe that's why I can't forget. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't a door slamming shut. It was quieter than that. Soft piano alone, just two people standing in the same room, realizing they were already worlds apart. Strings swell, and somehow the quietest moments leave the deepest echoes. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies. Nothing sounds like your good. Not the storms that roll across the night, not the echoes underneath the bridges, not the stars that fade from sight. But maybe someday it won't hurt this way. Maybe one day I'll hear your memory, and it won't pull me back again. Nothing sounds like your goodbye, but it doesn't know me anymore. Nothing sounds like your goodbye as the morning reaches shore.
Drums disappear, piano and ambient strings remain. The rain is slowing down. The city is getting quiet. And for the first time tonight, so is your voice. Soft piano fades into silence.
Soft and all love, distant city I'm babe. There's a moment after midnight when the world gets so quiet. You can hear everything you've been trying to avoid. Vinyl crackle enters, and tonight it's you. The apartment feels too big tonight. Every room echoes your absence back. The refrigerator hums in the kitchen, like it's trying to fill the cracks. Streetlights leak through the curtain, drawing silver lines across the floor. And I swear I heard your footsteps, though nobody's here anymore. I got the TV playing softly, just to keep the silence occupied. But every voice inside the speakers still leaves too much space inside. And every second stretches longer when there's nowhere left to hide. Soft drums enter, heartbeat rhythm. There's a static in the stillness, a signal I can't quite decode. Like my heart keeps trying to call you on a line that's long gone cold. Full arrangement homage, seeds hopper between heartbeats. Noise inside the quiet, that's what unsaid. Words still starting little riots. Static between heartbeats, keeping me awake tonight. Like your memory found a frequency and won't let go of the dial. Static between heartbeats. Every time I close my eyes, warm roads, piano joints, Clock keeps counting every minute, like it's proud of moving on, while I'm stuck somewhere between what disappeared and what is gone. I tried reading, tried sleeping, tried losing myself in anything, but every road inside my head still circles back to the same thing. Funny how lovely fingerprints on places you never expect. A song, a scent, a random sentence can pull you through years in a second. And tonight they're all showing up like they got it by their very breath. Strings slowly begin swelling, the night keeps turning up the volume on everything I try to bury, and the silence keeps translating every memory I still carry. Larger drums, richer harmony, steady static beats, heartbeats. Noise inside the quiet, thousand unsaid words still starting little riots. Static between heartbeats, keeping me awake tonight, like your memory found a frequency and won't let go of the dial. Static between heartbeats, every time I close my eyes. Drums drop out completely, piano and strings only. Maybe healing isn't silence, maybe healing is the noise. Maybe it's learning how to listen without getting destroyed. Maybe every ghost I'm chasing is just another version of me, still standing where you left me, afraid to finally leave. Strings rise dramatically, but the night keeps moving forward even when I don't. Full cinematic climax, soaring big between heartbeats, but it's fading with the dawn. Every broken signal slowly losing power, moving on. Static between heartbeats, doesn't own the air tonight. Your memory may find a frequency, but it doesn't control my life. Static between heartbeats, finally losing its holder. Static between heartbeats, as the morning turns golden. Soft piano, I'm in past, drums gone. The city's waking up now, birds replacing sirens, light replacing shadows, and somewhere between one heartbeat and the next, I finally exhale. As the morning signals slowly, oh, oh, yeah. Soft piano, distant rain, faint and alone. 2:17 a.m. Not late enough to call it morning, not early enough to call it night. Just that strange hour when memories seem louder than reality. Deep bass slowly fades in sleep, feels a million miles away. The numbers glow red across the darkness, 2:17 staring back at me, like the universe froze this moment just to watch me overthink everything. But she's a tangle around my legs, the room is colder than before, and every thought I locked away. day, somehow standing at my door. I try counting all my blessings, try counting sheep, try slowing down, but every road inside my mind still ends where you can't be found. Outside the rain keeps falling, like it knows exactly how I feel. Soft drums and a heartbeat groove. This hour always finds me somewhere between letting go and holding on, where every shadow starts talking and every memory feels strong. Full arrangement open, hey, arm in name. And your name is still floating through my head. Another conversation with the things I never said. The city sleeps while I'm reliving yesterday, wishing my heart knew how to stay away from the places used to live inside me. Warm road dinners beneath the vocal, the ceiling wears familiar patterns, maps are memorized by heart. I followed every crack above me, trying to figure out where we fell apart. My phone's just quiet on the nightstand, no messages, no missed calls. Yeah, somehow silence feels heavier than hearing nothing at all. I wonder if you're sleeping peacefully or staring at another room. Wonder if another soul now occupies the space I used to, and that thought lands like thunder in a sky already bruised. Strings begin to rise. Some nights feel like ocean, some thoughts feel like waves, and this hour keeps pulling me under. Every time I think I've been saved, larger harmony, stronger drums. Your name is still floating through my head. Another conversation with the things I never said. 7 a.m. The city sleeps while I'm reliving yesterday, wishing my heart knew how to stay away from the places used to live inside me. Drums, disappear, piano and strings only. Maybe this hour isn't curved, maybe it's honest, maybe the daylight give us distractions, but the night gives us truth. Soft vocal ad-libs echo, and maybe healing isn't forgetting, maybe healing is surviving these moments without needing to run from them. Strings swell dramatically, maybe that's enough for tonight. Full cinematic climax, soaring on me now. Something feels a little different now. Soaring back, yeah. The weight is still here, but it's lighter somehow. 7 a.m. Stars outside don't seem so far away. Maybe I'll make it through this place. Maybe tomorrow won't look the same. Maybe tomorrow won't carry your name. 2:17 a.m. and I'm still here, still breathing, still becoming. Soft piano, rain fading away. The clock changes, then 2:19, then 2:20, and for the first time all night I stop watching. The whole city disappeared hours ago. Street lights standing guard outside my window. The moon hanging low over empty roads. And somehow sleep keeps skipping my dress. Deep bass and softly again. I flipped this pillow 10 different ways. Turned the room colder than before. Watched headlights paint moving pictures across the shadows on my floor. The clock keeps pacing through the darkness like it's got somewhere else to be, while every minute sits beside me, pulling old memories from the deep. I tried breathing slow, tried counting backwards, tried convincing my heart to cooperate, but every quiet corner of this room still carries your shade. And every attempt to forget only makes me remember. Soft drums in it with a heartbeat groove. The night keeps asking questions I don't know how to answer yet. And every thought I thought was gone shows up soaking wet with regret. Full of raiment open, laying harmony. Sleep won't find me tonight. I've been hiding in these memories too long. Sleep won't find me tonight. Every silence keeps turning into a song about what we were, about what we lost, about all the bridges I still cross. Sleep won't find me tonight, no matter how badly I want it to. Warm electric guitar, textures enter softly. The ceiling fan keeps spinning circles, like it's trapped inside its own routine. And I guess we're more alike than I thought, both moving without leaving. I wonder if somewhere you're dreaming, completely untouched by this pain, while I'm collecting pieces of conversations, trying to put them together again. The city hums beyond my curtains, 1,000 lives moving ahead, while I'm here revisiting moments that should have stayed where they ended. And every road I take inside my mind still bends back toward you. Strings begin to swell underneath. I keep telling myself tomorrow will be easier to carry, but tonight feels heavy enough to bend the sky. Larger humming, stronger drums. I've been hiding in these memories too long. Sleep won't find me tonight. Every silence keeps turning into a song about what we were, about what we lost, because all the bridges I still cross. Sleep won't find me tonight, no matter how badly I want it to. Sleep won't find me tonight. Sleep won't find me tonight. Sleep won't find me tonight. Drums drop out, piano and strings only. Maybe sleep isn't avoiding me. Maybe my heart just isn't finished speaking. Maybe there are lessons hidden inside every restless evening. Maybe healing sounds like this. Not beautiful, not graceful, just survive another midnight without falling apart. Strings rise dramatically And maybe that's enough progress for one night. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmony and vocal layer. You sleep won't find me tonight, but I don't need saving like I used to. Yes, somehow the darkness feels less cruel. The stars are still there beyond these clouds. The world is still turning around. Sleep won't find me tonight. Oh, finally found me instead. Sleep won't find me distant rain returns. The clock keeps moving, the city keeps breathing, and somewhere between exhaustion and peace, my eyes finally grow heavy. Soft piano echoes through a large empty room. Distant city ambience, I know crackle. This place used to feel smaller, back when your laughter lived in the corners, back when silence didn't sound like this. Warm bass slowly enters. Now every room has a memory, and every memory has your face. The kitchen still remembers Sunday mornings, coffee brewing while you dance barefoot. The hallway keeps your shadow hanging. Somewhere between then and now, there's a dent in the couch cushion that somehow never disappeared. Like even furniture struggles with learning you're not here. The mirror in the bathroom catches me, looking over my shoulder sometimes, as if some part of me still expects to see your reflection next to mine. And every door I open feels like opening an old. Soft drums enter, heartbeat rhythm. These walls have heard our stories more than anybody else. Now they keep repeating pieces when I'm by myself. Full ranging opens, dead harmony. There are ghosts in the apartment, wearing all our old memories. Ghosts in the apartment, living where your love used to be. They sit beside me in the quiet, they follow me from room to room. Ghosts in the apartment, keeping your shape inside this room. And I don't know how to ask them to leave. Warm rose piano joins the raiment. The bedroom feels the hardest lately. Your side still faces the window light. Sometimes I wake up reaching over before reality arrives. I found an old receipt inside a drawer from a night we'd almost forgotten. Funny how a tiny piece of paper can bring an entire world back. The bookshelf still holds your favorites. The plants you bought still grow. Even after all this time, some things refuse to let go. Maybe that's why healing takes so long. Strings begin swelling underneath. Every object tells a story. Every corner knows your name. Every night they all gather to remind me what became. Larger harmonies, richer drums. There are ghosts in the apartment. used to be. They sit beside me in the quiet, they follow me from room to room. Ghosts in the apartment, keeping your shape inside this room. And I don't know how to ask them to leave. Drums drop out completely, piano and strings only. Maybe they're not really ghosts, maybe they're pieces of me, still learning how to exist without the future I believed in. Maybe every memory hurts because it mattered, because of it real. Because there is fingerprints long after he leaves the room. Strings swell dramatically, and maybe that's not something to fear. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies. There are ghosts in the apartment, but they don't scare me like before. Ghosts in the apartment, slowly fading with each dawn. They still visit in the silence, but they don't stay the whole night through. Ghosts in the apartment, making space for something new. And maybe one day they'll finally let the sunlight through. Soft piano, distant morning birds beginning to appear. The apartment's still quiet, the memories are still here. But tonight they feel a little lighter. It's 2:43 a.m., the kind of hour where logic goes missing and hope starts making promises it can't keep. Warm bass enters slowly, and there's one thought I can't seem to turn off. My phone is face down on the nightstand, like I'm trying not to tempt fate. But every few minutes I look anyway, as if something's about to change. The room is quiet except for rainfall, tracing patterns on the window pane. And every drop sounds like a question I keep asking in different ways. Would your voice still sound familiar? Would my heart still lose control? Would we pick up where we left off, or realize we both grown? Oh, I've imagined every version of a conversation that may never end. Soft drums into heartbeat rhythm, the night keeps feeding possibility to a mind that won't sit still, and hope keeps drawing pictures reality never will. Full of rain and open, saying almost. What if you call right now? What if your name lit up this room? What if everything I buried started breathing again too soon? What if you said you miss me? What if you couldn't let me go? Would I finally find the answers, or just lose myself all over? What if you called right now? Would I be strong enough to let it ring? Warm rose join softly. I've rehearsed this moment countless times in the theater of my mind. Sometimes you apologize, sometimes you simply say hi. Sometimes you're lonely, sometimes you're healing, sometimes you're standing in the rain, thinking of me the way I've been thinking of you. But fantasies are dangerous when the night grows deep enough. They build entire worlds out of things that never were. And somehow those worlds feel real until the morning comes. Strings begin to rise. Every heartbeat becomes a question. Every silence becomes a sign. And every minute without reason feels like maybe this is the time. Larger harmony, stronger drums. What if you call right now? What if your name lit up this room? What if everything out there started breathing again too soon? What if you said you miss me? What if you couldn't let me go? Would I finally find the answers, or just lose myself all over? What if you called right now? Would I be strong enough to let it ring? Drums drop out, piano and strings only. Maybe the harder question isn't what if you call? Maybe it's what if you don't? Soft vocal ad-libs echo. Would I keep waiting forever? Would I keep living inside? Or maybe, or would I finally learn that closure doesn't always arrive with a ringtone? Strings swell dramatically. Sometimes it arrives the moment you stop expecting one. Full cinematic climax, so we're in harmony. What if you called right now? I probably still remember your voice. What if you called right now? I probably still feel the weight of the choice. But maybe I don't need the answers. Maybe I don't need the proof. Maybe the peace I've been searching for was never waiting on you. What if you called right now? I'd answer with a different heart. What if you called right now? I'd finally know who we are. Soft piano, rain slowly fading. The screen stays dark, the room stays quiet. And somehow that feels okay tonight. Instruments fade and the sun's night. The night isn't over, but it isn't endless anymore. Somewhere beyond these curtains, morning is already on its way. Warm bass slowly fades in, and maybe so am I. The moon sits lower than before, its silver light losing ground. The shadows that felt permanent are finally backing down. I've spent hours with these thoughts tonight, watching them circle through my head. Some stay longer than they should have, some left without being said. The rain has finally stopped falling, the streets are starting to dry, and something about the quiet feels different than goodbye. Like the darkness isn't winning, it's simply passing through. Soft drums enter with a gentle pulse. The night taught me a few things I wasn't ready to hear, like how healing can arrive without announcing it's here. Full arrangement opens, laid harmony. I'm halfway to morning, halfway to letting go, halfway between the person I was and someone I don't yet know. Halfway to freedom, halfway through the pain. The stars are slowly disappearing, but I don't need them to remain. I'm halfway to the morning, and that's enough for now. I'm halfway to the morning. Warm electric guitar, textures enter softly. Apartment feels less haunted, the silence feels less loud. The memories still visit, but they don't pull me under now. I still think about your laughter, still remember how you smiled. But the sharp edges of those moments have softened over time. Maybe closure isn't a destination, maybe it's 1,000 tiny steps, a collection of small mercies the heart slowly accepts. And maybe tonight was one of them. Strings begin to rise beneath the vocal. The horizon's changing colors, though the sun isn't here yet. And maybe that's what hope looks like before it fully arrives. Larger harmony, stronger drums. I'm halfway to morning, halfway to letting go, halfway to freeing up the person I was, halfway to morning, halfway to letting go, halfway between a person I was and someone I don't yet know. Halfway to freedom, halfway through the pain. The stars are slowly disappearing, but I don't need them to remain. Halfway to morning, and that's enough for now. Halfway to morning, that's enough for now. Halfway to morning, that's enough for now. Drums, chop out piano and strings only. For so long, I thought healing would feel dramatic, a breakthrough, a revelation, a sudden light, soft vocal echoes. But maybe healing is quiet, and maybe it's just realizing you survived another night and the world kept turning. Strings swell dramatically, and so did you. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies and laid background. I'm halfway to morning, halfway to becoming whole, halfway to trusting that tomorrow can hold something beautiful. Halfway to freedom, halfway beyond the fear. The sky is getting brighter now, and I can finally see clear. I'm halfway to morning, halfway to peace, halfway to peace. Soft wave, soft rose piano, ambient past, faint on atmosphere. The stars fade slowly, the city starts breathing again. And for the first time tonight, I don't wish the clock would stop.
4:12 a.m. The city's still awake somewhere, breathing beneath a blanket of streetlights. And from this room, I can see pieces of it through the curtains. Warm bass enters softly. little reminders that life keeps moving.
Golden lines slipping through the fabric, painting pattern across the floor. Tiny rivers made of headlights, flowing past my window once more. From up here everybody looks small, little stories passing by. Someone's driving toward the future, someone's chasing a different sky. And for a moment I stopped thinking about the places that still hurt, because the city feels alive enough to carry some of this burden. Every light outside is saying you're not the only one awake. Soft drums enter with a smooth pulse. The night feels less lonely when you realize how many hearts are trying to heal at the same time. Full arrangement opens, layering harmonies, city lights through the curtains, shining where the darkness used to stay. City lights through the curtains, showing me there's more than yesterday. Every glow across the skyline feels like a promise in disguise. City lights through the curtains, teaching tired hearts how to survive tonight. Warm electric guitar textures join softly, the buildings with their reflections, constellations made by hand, windows filled with different lives, different dreams, different plans. Somebody's laughing in the distance, somebody's falling back in love, somebody's finally finding answers under the same moon above. And maybe that's the beauty of a city that never completely sleeps. It reminds you that endings happen, so do beginnings every single day. Strings begin to rise, horizons getting lighter, though the sun still hides away. And somehow that's enough to make me wanna stay. Larger harmony, stronger drums, city love and calling, city gun, city lights through the curtains, shining where the darkness used to stay. City lights through the curtains, showing me there's more than yesterday. Every glow across the skyline feels like a promise in disguise. City lights through the curtains, teaching tired hearts how to survive drums drop out, piano and strings only. I spent so many nights believing the world got smaller when you left. But looking out this window now, I can finally see how much remains. Soft vocal ad-libs echo, the streets still stretch forever. Stars still find their places, and somewhere beyond this room, a new chapter is already waiting. Strings swell dramatically for me to walk into it. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmony, city lights through the curtains, brighter than they've ever seen before. City lights through the curtains, opening windows I couldn't see before. Every glow across the skyline feels like hope learning how to speak. City lights through the curtain, showing me the strength I couldn't see. City lights,
soft rose piano, distant city ambiance, early dawn birds faintly heard. The city keeps glowing, the night keeps fading, and for the first time in a long time, the future doesn't feel so far away. Instrumental fade into the approaching sunrise.
Soft, you ever levy in another life. The sky is changing colors, and somehow that makes me think of you. Not the way things ended, but the way things could have been. Warm base slowly enters in another life. Maybe we got it right. Maybe in another life we met at the right time. Not carrying old wounds, not running from old storms. Maybe in another life the timing wasn't cruel, and we didn't have to choose between love and who we were becoming. Maybe we stayed longer, maybe we fought harder, maybe we learned each other instead of learning goodbye. Sometimes I build these little worlds just to visit them for a while. Soft drums and a gently. I know they're only daydreams floating through the early light, but sometimes imagination feels kinder than the truth. Full arrangement opens, layered harmony. Maybe in another life you're still reaching for my hand. Maybe in another life everything went exactly as we planned. Maybe in another life we found a way to stay. Maybe in another life love didn't slip away. Maybe in another life, but not this one. Warm rose piano joined softly. Maybe we bought that little house we used to joke about. Maybe the pictures on the walls tell a different story now. Maybe Sunday mornings still belong to us. Maybe your favorite mug still sits beside mine. Maybe the years pass softly instead of all at once. But every beautiful fantasy eventually meets the dawn, and every alternate ending has to fade when morning comes. Still, I can't help wondering sometimes. Strings begin to rise beneath the vocal. The heart is strange the way it keeps old possibilities alive, long after reality has spoken. Larger harmonies, stronger drums. Maybe in another life, maybe in another life you're still reaching for my hand. Maybe in another life everything went exactly as we planned. Maybe in another life we found a way to stay. Maybe in another life love didn't slip away. Maybe in another life, but not this one. Drums drop out, piano and strings only, and maybe that's okay. Maybe every love story isn't meant to become forever. Maybe some people arrive to change you, not stay with you. Soft vocal echoes. Maybe you were a lesson, maybe you were a gift. Maybe you were both strings swelled dramatically, and maybe that's enough. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmony. We got every ending right. Maybe in another ride, maybe another ride we never had to say goodbye. The stars aligned our way, nothing slipped away. But in this life I learned how deeply I could love, and in this life there's more than enough. gestures. The sky turns gold, the stars disappear, and the dream slowly lets go of me. The night's almost over, but there's one drawer I keep opening, one folder I keep revisiting, filled with words that never left the screen. Warm bass enters slowly, message written but never sent. There's 1,000 versions of goodbye buried inside my notes app. Paragraphs written at 3 in the morning, then erased before daylight could react. Some started with I miss you, some started with anger, some started with questions I was too afraid to answer. I wrote about the coffee shop where everything still felt the same. I wrote about hearing our song and pretending it didn't change me. I wrote your name so many times, the letters stopped looking real. Soft drums enter with a slow pulse. Some words are too heavy to place in someone else's hand, so they stay trapped between the heart and the screen. Full arrangement open, laying on me. Things I never said, still inside these empty drafts. Things I never said, moments frozen in digital glass. Every sentence carried pieces of a version of me you never saw. The things I never said taught me things I never knew before. About love, about love, about letting go. Warm electric guitar textures into softly. There was one message after midnight where I almost pressed send. A whole year's worth of honesty balanced on the edge of my thumb. I wanted to tell you everything, how healing wasn't linear, how some days still felt impossible, how some memories still glow. But the longer I stared at that screen, the clearer it became. Not every truth leaves a destination, not every feeling needs a name. Sometimes writing it is enough. Strings begin to rise beneath the vocal. The heart keeps records of every unfinished thought, but healing begins when you stop needing a reply. Larger harmonies, richer drums, the things I never said still live inside these empty drafts. The things I need digital glass. Every sentence carried pieces of a version of me you never saw. The things I never said taught me things I never knew before. About love, about love, about letting go. Drums drop out, piano and strings only. Maybe those messages were never meant for you. Maybe they were letters to the version of myself that couldn't move on. Soft vocal echoes, maybe every unsaid word was another step forward. Disguises looking back, strings swell dramatically, maybe that's why I kept writing. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies, the things I never said don't hurt the way they used to now. The things I never said feel that it's something to carry what I couldn't carry alone. The things I never said help me find my way back home to myself, to my peace, to the morning waiting for me. The drafts remain, but the urgency is gone. And for the first time, I don't feel like opening them up. Instrumental fade into sunrise.
Soft piano, warming paths, distant morning rain, 5:16 a.m. The sun hasn't arrived yet, but the darkness is already leaving it. Somehow,
The hardest part of every morning still waits beside me. Deep bass enters softly in the space where you used to be. The blanket falls a little differently now. One side untouched through the night. No sleepy conversations in the shadows. No reaching for your hand before the light. The pillow still remembers your shape, even after all this time. Funny how some things disappear while others refuse to leave a mind. The room is quiet in a different way. Not lonely, just honest, like it's finally stopped pretending. You walk back through that door, soft drums enter gently. I spent so long fighting this feeling, trying to fill every empty space. But some space exists to teach us how to grow. Full arrangement opens, laying harmonies. The empty side of the bed used to feel like losing you all over again. The empty side of the bed used to pull me back to where we've been, but tonight it feels different, like a chapter reaching its end. Inside of the bed isn't empty, it's making room again. Warm roads, piano joins softly. I remember winter mornings when we stay wrapped inside the sheets, talking about places, visiting people we someday be. Some dreams made it through the years, some never left the ground, but every memory carries meaning even when the people aren't around. I've learned that missing someone and needing them aren't always the same thing. One comes from the heart, the other from fear, and I've been learning the difference slowly. Strings begin to rise, the sunrise waits beyond the window, patient as ever, and maybe healing looks a little like that. Larger harmony, stronger drum. The empty strum of the drum, the empty side of the bed. Used to feel like losing you all over again. The empty side of the bed used to pull me back to where we've been, but tonight it feels different. Like a chapter reaching its end. The empty side of the bed isn't empty. It's making room again. Ooh. Drums dropped out, piano and strings only for a long time. I thought moving on and forgetting, erasing, replacing soft vocal echoes. But maybe moving on is remembering without breaking. Maybe it's carrying the good without carrying the weight. Strings swell dramatically. Maybe it's finally forgiving in the story for ending. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmony, sing. Feels softer in the morning light. Doesn't scare me like it did at night. Every ending leaves a space for something beautiful ahead. The empty side of the bed is becoming a place where hope can rest instead. And I'm finally okay with it.
Soft piano, distant birds, early sunrise ambience. The first sunlight reaches the sheets. The room slowly fills with gold. And for the first time in a long time, I don't look at the empty side. I look forward. Instrumental fade.
5:57 a.m. The night is almost gone, but before it leaves, it has one last thing to say. Warm bass and it slowly, and for once, I'm listening. The dark and I have talked for hours, longer than most people stay. It knows every fear I've hidden, every reason I ran away. It sat beside me through heartbreak. Watch me unravel thread by thread. Listen while I build entire futures inside the corners of my head. Yeah. The dark never interrupted, never told me how to feel. It simply handed me a mirror and asked me what was real. And tonight, for the first time, I answered honestly. Soft drums enter with a slow heartbeat rhythm. The hardest conversations are usually the quiet ones, the ones nobody hears, but somehow change everything. Full arrangement opens, let it having conversations with the dark, learning who I am beneath the scars. Conversations with the dark, finding pieces of my heart I thought were lost. Every shadow carried questions, every silence played a part. I've been having conversations with the dark, and somehow they brought me back to myself. Warm roads and soft guitar textures in her. The dark asked why I kept chasing people who were already gone, why I kept building homes inside memories I couldn't live in, why I believed my worth depended on who decided to stay, why I treated my own heart like something disposable, and I didn't have answers, not at first. Just tears, just honesty, just years of things I'd never said out loud. Strings begin rising underneath, but every truth becomes lighter the moment it's finally spoken, even if nobody else hears it. Larger harmonies, stronger drums. I've been having conversations with the dark, learning who I am beneath the scars. Conversations with the dark, finding pieces of my heart I thought were lost. Every shadow carried questions, every silence played a part. I've been having conversations with the dark, and somehow they brought me back to myself. Drums drop out complete, piano and cinematic strings only. The dark isn't the enemy, it never was. Soft vocal echoes, it was the classroom, the waiting room, the place where all the noise disappeared, so I can finally hear myself. Strings swell dramatically, and maybe that's why dawn always comes after, not before. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies and layout. I've been having conversations with the dark, and I don't fear the silence anymore. Conversations with the dark open doors I couldn't see before. Every shadow taught a lesson, every sleepless night left marks. I've been having conversations with the dark, and they led me to the light. I've been having conversations with the dark, and now I understand my heart. Soft piano, early birds beginning to sing. Dawnlight atmosphere, the sky is turning gold. The shadows are disappearing, and the dark has finally said everything it needed to say.
It's for me. Into sunrise. "5:42 a.m. The storm stayed longer than expected, but somehow it feels comforting tonight. Like the sky understands something the rest of the world forgot. Soft bass enters, and every raindrop sounds like a memory, finding its way home. Rain against the window, drawing rivers down the glass, blurring all the city lights, like the night is letting go at last. I've spent hours sitting here, watching reflections come and go, learning how to sit with silence instead of fighting what I know. The storm doesn't apologize for arriving when it needs to. It doesn't rush its healing or hide what it's been through. Maybe that's why I keep listening, like it's trying to teach me something. Soft drums and a delicate heartbeat groove. Every drop tells a story, every wave finds a shore, and every ending leaves behind something worth remembering. Full arrangement happens, rain against the window, singing songs only lonely hearts understand. Yeah, rain against the window, washing yesterday from my hands. Every drop keeps falling, but none of them fall the same. Rain against the window, reminding me that nothing stays, not even
warm guitar textures enter softly. There was a time I'd hear this weather and immediately think of you. The way we'd watch the clouds roll in from the safety of your room. But tonight the rain belongs to me, not to memories, not to loss. Just this moment, just this moment, just this version of myself, learning how to stand alone. The streets below shine silver now, reflecting pieces of the sky. And somehow everything feels connected. The tears, the rain, the goodbye. Strings begin rising beneath the vocal. The clouds are getting lighter, though they haven't fully broken yet. And maybe that's what healing looks like from a distance. Larger harmony, strong against the window, singing songs only lonely hearts understand. Rain against the window, washing yesterday from my hand. Every drop keeps falling, but none of them fall the same. Rain against the window, reminding me that nothing stays, not even pain. Drums drop out completely, piano and strings only. The storm never asked permission to become what it needed to be. And maybe I shouldn't either. Soft vocal echoes, maybe growth isn't always sunshine. Maybe some lessons arrive wrapped in gray skies and quiet mornings. Strings swell dramatically, maybe that's why the rain feels beautiful now. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies, rain against the window, sounding softer than it did against the window, opening places that were closed before against the window. But now I hear something new, rain against the window, carrying me beyond the blue. Rain against the window, turning sorrow into truth. Rain against the window, leading me back to me. Soft roads, piano, rain slowly easing. The storm begins to fade, the clouds begin to part, and somewhere behind them, morning has been waiting all along. 5:57 a.m. Yeah. The night is almost gone, but before it leaves it has one last thing to say. Warm bass enters slowly, and for once I'm listening. The dark and I have talked for hours, longer than most people stay. It knows every fear I've hidden, every reason I ran away. It sat beside me through heartbreak, watch me unravel thread by thread. Listen while I build entire futures inside the corners of my head. The dark never interrupts, never told me how to feel. It simply handed me a mirror and asked me what was real. And tonight, for the first time, I answered honestly. Soft drums enter with a slow heartbeat rhythm. The hardest conversations are usually the quiet ones, the ones nobody hears, but somehow change everything. Full arrangement opens their harmonies. I've been having conversations with the dark, learning who I am beneath the scars. Conversations with the dark, finding pieces of my heart I thought were lost. Every shadow carried questions, every silence
brought me back to myself. Warm roads and soft guitar textures in it. The dark, that's why I kept chasing people who were already gone. Why I kept building homes inside memories I couldn't live in. Why I believe my worth depended on who decided to stay. Why I treated my heart like something disposable, and I didn't have answers, not at first. It's tears, honesty, years of things I never said out loud. Strings begin rising underneath, but every truth becomes lighter the moment it's finally spoken, even if nobody else hears it. Larger harmony, stronger drums. I've been having overthinking, I've been having conversations with the drum. Learning who I am beneath the scars. Conversations with the dark, finding pieces of my heart I thought were lost. Every shadow carried questions, every silence played a part. I've been having conversations with the dark, and somehow they brought me back to myself. Drums drop out completely, piano and cinematic strings only. The dark isn't the enemy, it never was. Soft vocal echoes, it was a classroom, a waiting room, a place where all the noise disappeared, so I could finally hear myself. Strings swell dramatically. Maybe that's why dawn always comes after, not before. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies and I've been having conversations with the dark. Don't feel the silence anymore. Conversations open doors I couldn't see before. Every shadow taught a lesson, every sleepless night left mark. I've been having conversations with the light, me to the light. I've been having conversations with the dark. I've been understand my heart. Soft piano, early birds beginning to sing, dawn-light atmosphere. The sky is turning gold, the shadows are disappearing in the dark. It's finally said everything it needed to say. Instrumental fades slowly into sunrise. It's 11 a.m. The moon is still holding on, even as the morning arrives. A silver glow stretched across the floor, like one last gift from the night. Warm bass in it softly, and for the first time I don't feel trapped inside my thoughts. Moonlight on the floor, like a photograph that I forgot to take. A quiet reminder, beautiful things don't have to stay. I spent so many hours chasing answers, trying to force meaning from the pain. But standing here inside the silence, I don't feel the need to explain. The room feels softer than before. The air feels lighter somehow, like the weight I've carried all these months is finally setting itself down. Not all at once, just enough. Soft drums and with a gentle pulse.
happens like this room healing happens slow, like moonlight fading gracefully when it's time to go. Full arrangement opens, laid in harmony. Moonlight on the floor showing me things I couldn't see before. Moonlight on the floor turning old wounds into something more. Every shadow losing shape, every fear becoming small. Moonlight on the floor, teaching me how to let life happen without holding on so hard. Warm electric guitar, textures in it softly. I still remember your laughter, still remember how your eyes lit up. But the memories feel different now, like pages from a finished book, not erased, not forgotten, just placed where they belong. Part of the road behind me, not the road I'm walking on. The city outside is waking, windows catching morning golden for the first time in forever. The future doesn't feel unknown, it feels open. Strings begin to rise beneath the vocal. Every ending leaves a doorway, every night creates a dawn. And every version of ourselves eventually moves on. Larger harmony, stronger drums, moonlight on the floor. Moonlight on the floor, showing me things I couldn't see. Moonlight on the floor, turn old wounds into something more. Every shadow losing shape, every fear becoming small. Moonlight on the floor, teaching me how to let life happen without holding on so hard. Drums drop out, piano and strings only. For so long I thought peace would feel dramatic, a breakthrough, a revelation, a perfect ending. Soft vocal echoes, but peace arrived quietly, like light crossing a room, like a heart finally deciding. Doesn't need to hurt forever, strings swell dramatically in sound that's even more beautiful. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies and epic wrong. Moonlight on the floor, fading gently with the morning sun. Moonlight on the floor, a reminder of how far I've come. Every scar becoming wisdom, every loss becoming grace. Moonlight on. Soft Rhodes piano, ambient sunrise atmosphere. The moon slips beyond the skyline. The room fills with morning, and the floor where the light once rested now shines with something new. Instrument in a golden dawn.
It's all love.
No dramatic ending,
no sudden breakthrough, just a quiet morning arriving exactly when it was supposed to.
Gentle bass centers. And somehow, that's enough.
The sky is wearing softer colors than it did a few hours ago. The kind that don't demand attention, but still manage to steal the show. I used to think healing was a destination, a place I'd finally arrive. But standing here beside this window, it feels more like learning how to fly. After spending years afraid of falling, after mistaking pain for proof, after carrying yesterday so tightly, I forgot there was room for something new. Now the weight feels different, like I'm finally setting it down. Soft drums and a little relaxed pulse. The night didn't fix everything, but it taught me how to breathe again. And maybe that's where healing starts. Full arrangement, open, playing harmonies. This feels like a soft landing. Not the ending that I planned, but the ending that I needed to become who I am. A soft landing. After all the storms inside my head, a soft landing, where peace finally replaces regret. And for the first time I don't need to chase what's left. Warm electric guitar textures into softly. The coffee's brewing in the kitchen. The city's stretching in a day, and everything feels strangely ordinary in the most beautiful way. No grand revelation waiting, no fireworks across the sky, just sunlight moving through the curtains in a heart that's learning not to fight. I still carry certain memories, I probably always will, but they no longer control the weather inside my chest, inside my spirit, inside the life I'm trying to build. Strings begin to rise gently. Every chapter leaves something behind. Every chapter leaves something new. And maybe both can be true at the same time. Larger harmonies, stronger drums. This feels like a soft landing. Not the ending that I planned, but the ending that I needed to become who I am. A soft landing. After all the storms inside my head, a soft landing, where peace finally places regret. And for the first time I don't need to chase what's left. Drums drop out, piano and strings only. I used to think moving on meant forgetting. Soft vocal echoes, but moving on is remembering without getting lost. It's carrying the lesson without carrying the weight. It's letting the story remain beautiful, even though it ended. Strings swell dramatically, and that changes everything. Like a soft landing, like sunlight touching tired eyes. A soft landing, like finally believing in tomorrow's skies. A soft landing, after every sleepless night before, like finding myself at my own door. And for the first time, home feels like me. Full sunrise atmosphere. The night is gone now. The city is awake.
fade slowly in the morning light.
Funny how healing works. You think you've already moved on, then a memory walks through the door and asks if it can stay a while. Warm bass enters softly, but this morning feels different. This morning I know the answer. I found your picture in a jacket I haven't worn in months. For a second time stood still like it used to. Back when every reminder felt heavy, back when every memory pulled me under, back when I confused missing you with needing you. I stared at that photograph long enough to feel the old day crack, and something unexpected happened. It left like a wave touching shore, then returning to the sea. Soft drums enter with a steady pulse. Some feelings don't disappear, they simply lose their power. And maybe that's enough. Full arrangement, hopeless, lay it open. I almost let you go. Thousands always one small part of me still standing at the door. I almost let you go, but now the grip is getting weak. Your memory still visits, but it no longer lives with me. I almost let you go, and maybe today is the day. Warm rose and guitar textures enter softly. I used to carry your name like a fragile piece of glass, afraid that if I dropped it, I'd lose everything we had. But love doesn't disappear just because it changes shape. It becomes wisdom, it becomes gratitude, it becomes something we can carry without breaking. And that's what this feels like. Not forgetting, just finally setting down what was never mine to keep forever. Strings begin to rise, the morning sun keeps climbing, the shadows keep retreating, and every minute feels lighter than the one before. Larger harmony, stronger drums, I almost let you go. A thousand's always one small part of me still standing at the door. I almost let you go, but now the grip is getting weak. Your memory still visits, but it no longer lives with me. I almost let you go, and maybe today's the day. Drums drop out completely, piano and cinematic strings only. Thank you for the laughter, for the lessons, for the nights that felt endless. Soft vocal echoes. Thank you for showing me how deeply I could feel, how strong I could become after losing it. Strings swell dramatically. Some people stay forever, some people change you forever. Those aren't always the same thing. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies and lay bravo. I almost let you go, and now I understand the difference between holding on to love and holding on to pain. I almost let you go, and the sky has never looked so wide. Your memory can stay let you go. And somehow that feels like freedom.
Soft piano, warm morning eyes, birds sing clearly now. The photograph goes back in the drawer. The sunlight fills the room. And for the first time, I don't look back after closing it. Instrument into bright morning light. 7:02 a.m. The night finally kept its promise. Morning arrived, not all at once, but slowly, like healing always does. Warm bass into softly, and through these tired eyes, everything looks different. The sun spills gold across the rooftops, touching every corner of the street. The same world that felt so heavy now feels strangely light beneath my feet. I've watched the darkness leaving pieces, hour by hour, thought by thought. And somewhere between the silence and the sunrise, I became someone I wasn't. Now completely new, just a little more hope, a little more certain, a little more free than the version of me who started this night. Soft drums enter with a steady licking pulse. The sky doesn't rush the morning, it unfolds exactly when it's ready. Maybe people do too. Full arrangement opens layered harmony. Sunrise through tired eyes, looks like hope wearing a new disguise. Sunrise through tired eyes, looks like peace after surviving the night. Every color feels brighter, every breath feels alive. Sunrise through tired eyes reminds me why it's worth trying. Warm roads and gentle guitar enter. There's still coffee cooling on the counter, still unanswered questions somewhere ahead. Still roads I haven't walked, still dreams I haven't met. But none of that scares me now. The future doesn't feel like an enemy anymore. It feels like an invitation, a door standing open, waiting patiently for me to step through. The city moves around me like it always has, but today I notice the beauty instead of the noise. Strings begin to rise beneath the vocal. Every ending carried me here, every lesson shaped this view. And suddenly I'm grateful for all of it. Larger harmony, stronger drums. Sunrise through tired eyes, looks like hope wearing a new disguise. Sunrise through tired eyes, looks like peace after surviving the night. Every color feels brighter, every breath feels alive. Sunrise through tired eyes reminds me why it's worth trying again. Drums drop out, piano and strings only. There was a time I thought this morning would never come. Soft vocal echoes, a time I believed the night would always feel this long. But every storm runs out of rain, every shadow runs out of sky, and every heart deserves another sunrise. Strings swell dramatically, including mine. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies a leather. Full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies a leather. Or cinematic climax, soaring harmonies a leather. For cinematic climax, soaring harmonies and level. Sunrise through tired eyes, looks like everything I couldn't see before. Sunrise through tired eyes, looks like opening every locked door. Every scar became
became a story. Every tear became a guide. Sunrise through tired eyes brought me back to life. Said for the first time in forever, I like who I see looking back at me. So piano, acoustic guitar, full morning ambience. The night is gone now, the city is awake. The sun is climbing higher, and I'm finally ready to follow it, to follow it into bright morning light. Soft piano warm and pad, distant morning bird, sunlight filling the room.
7:31 a.m. The funny thing about peace is that it rarely arrives when you're looking for it. It waits until you stop fighting. Gentle bass enters softly, and after all these hours, after all these thoughts, after all these ghosts, I can finally feel it.
The sunlight settles on the blanket like a hand resting on my shoulder. The room hasn't changed, but somehow everything feels different. The pictures still hang on the wall, the memories still exist. The story is still the story, but it no longer owns me. I've spent the whole night traveling through every corner of my heart, visiting old wounds, collecting old pieces, finding old versions of myself and leaving some of them behind. Soft drums and a gently heartbeat rhythm. The night asked every question needed to ask, and somehow I survived every answer. Full arrangement on log and heart, finally sleeping, not because the world got easier. Finally sleeping because I stopped carrying what wasn't mine. Finally sleeping like the storm finally found the sea. Finally sleeping like my heart finally found me after all this time. Warm rose piano, soft guitar tenor. The ceiling doesn't feel familiar anymore, not like it did at 2 a.m. Back when every crack held a memory, and every shadow had your name. Now it's just a ceiling, just a room, just a morning. And maybe that's the miracle, not forgetting, not erasing, not pretending none of it happened, but seeing everything clearly and choosing peace anyway. Strings begin rising beneath the vocal. The city moves outside the window. The day begins its song, and for the first time I don't feel left behind. Larger harmonies, stronger drums. I'm finally stronger drums. I'm finally sleeping, not because the world got easier. I'm finally sleeping because I stopped carrying what wasn't mine. I'm finally sleeping like the storm finally found the sea. I'm finally sleeping like my heart finally found me after all this time. Drums drop out completely, piano and cinematic strings only. To every sleepless hour, to every ceiling stare, to every memory that refused to leave. Soft vocal echoes, thank you for leading me here. Thank you for teaching me who I am. Thank you for proving I could survive the longest night. Strings swell dramatically and still greet the morning with an open, a full cinematic climax, soaring harmonies, their quiet style loud vocal. I'm finally sleeping like a soul no longer searching. Like every broken piece found its place. I'm finally sleeping like forgiveness finally showed its face. After all this time, after all this time, after all this pain, after every question, after every tomorrow doesn't scare me anymore. The coffee grows cold on the counter. The birds keep singing outside. The sunlight stretches across the room, and my eyes finally close. Not from exhaustion, but from peace, instrumental into silence.